Hey everybody, how's it going? Welcome back to my channel. It is a beautiful overcast day in Southern California today, so I thought I'm going to take advantage of it and get out here and do some pruning in my planter boxes. I'm also going to be sharing with you guys a schedule that I did to manage my garden. Although it's not a huge space, how many of us know that when we have full-time jobs, we have kids, we have other things that we have to do, sometimes we neglect the garden. So I wanted to be able to schedule things out, make them in bite-sized pieces, and then show you guys how I did that so that you too can be able to manage your garden in a timely manner and not be stressed out and not let things grow over like I did here with the basil plant and our jalapeno plant. Honestly, I didn't even know when I should be pruning them or how I should be pruning them. So we're going to be going over that today as well. And so let's get started and I'll see you guys in the garden. Okay, so I don't have a good camera stand or a camera stand at all. So I am totally bending over to get in this shot right now. So anyway, you guys can see my beautiful basil plant, but it's super woody on the bottom, which I don't know if that's an issue or not, but I should have started pruning this way sooner. So it does have a couple flowers coming up, and we don't want to have those flowers on there because it's taking away the energy from the plant actually producing some really good basil leaves on here. So we're going to be pruning this back a little bit, and so let's get to it. Okay, so I'm going to try to get a little bit closer in here for you guys, but from what I am learning, because I am learning, I think we need to take it down like the first 4 leaf sets here and just above another one that's growing in. So I'm actually going to take it down, let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4. Yeah, 4 levels down from the very top, which is flowering, and then just cut it there where all that new growth is happening. And I'm going to cut it kind of at an angle and not get this little leaf here. And this works much better if your snippers are nice and sharp. So I'm just going to put this down here for a second, and then we're going to do the same thing to all of these other toppers here. So 1, 2, 3, 4. So this one has more growth here, so I'm going to do it just a little bit higher. And now you can take all this other basil too and you can use it, make pesto or something else. Dry the leaves as well. And this is just going to allow the plant to regrow and not be so bushy. This thing is literally almost hanging over the back side of my planter. It's so cute to see them grow, these new leaves. But you got to take the time to keep them going, because if you see here on this one, it's woody all the way up here, and it shouldn't be. I think we should have more growth going on down here, but I didn't prune this plant at all when I first got it. So there are some growth, little leaves that are happening, little nodes that are coming, and as you can see, what's happening here, right? I do need to come in here and spray. I'm gonna try a new spray. I believe it's called, what is it called? Oh my gosh, I forgot. Captain Jacks, I think it's called. I'm gonna try that one and see how it works. So I'm trying to figure this one out, and I see a lot of damage on the leaves, which are probably, it looks like, from these pincher bugs. I know they have another name. It's not a pincher bug. Earwigs, that's what they're called. So I'm going to cut this one down, and then we will move over to the jalapeno. Okay guys, so as you can see, my jalapeno plant is kind of tall, but I'm going to end up leaving it because although it has some damage, I need to spray out here and see if we can get rid of some of the bugs, but it does have a lot of little flowers coming in, so I want to give them a chance to actually produce some chilies. So there's a lot in here, and yes, I don't even know if this is from the sun or if it's from some bugs, so I'm going to spray. But as you can see, it's got a lot of little flower buds coming out, so I want to see if those peppers are going to sprout out from there before I take it back. So, but you can see this one is actually really cool. You could see a little node here, and then this one's growing out. But check out this branch. It's kind of like a little twin branch, and it grew together all the way up here, and then it sprouts out on its own. So I think I'm deciding to just leave this because I really want to see if these are going to come out. There's so many. So hopefully we'll get a lot of peppers from this plant. I did prune it back earlier in the season, and we only got like I think 3 jalapeno peppers from it when we first got it, but we didn't know, and so we let it turn red, which I guess you can eat them too. It's not as potent, it's not as hot, a little bit sweeter of a pepper, but we didn't know. Again, we are learning on this channel together. So I'm going to look at a couple of the other things. Actually down here, you guys, I'll share with you because I don't know what happened to this, but you can see a lot of damage and, oh my gosh. Do you see that? Ugh. We have such a spider problem out here, and it's more than just like the little spider mites. I don't think that's a spider mite egg because that's kind of huge. So this plant does not look good. Not sure what I'm going to do with this plant yet. Obviously going to cut it down and see if it shoots out again, but it just is so dried out and stuff. But this one is doing really, really well. Got a lot of good new growth coming in, so I'm excited. And honestly, I had an overwhelming amount of Roma tomatoes from this plant that I could not even handle. So I've been giving them away to family and neighbors and stuff like that. So this one plant will do me just fine for me and my family, and I don't really need the second one. So I'm still going to try to revive it though, just because it is a baby in my garden. Okay, so the next part of our planter boxes that we're going to attack is our strawberries. So as you can see, they're totally overgrown. There's a lot of old stuff in here. So I'm just going to clean these out and give them some more life. There's little baby new growth that's happening down here. So all of this other stuff doesn't really need to be here. So we're going to prune these up pretty good. Okay, so as you can see, I pruned them up pretty well. This has a lot of growth coming in here. It almost looks as if there's 3 plants in here, maybe 4 even. But I'm just going to leave them there and see how they do. Also here, we've got a lot of new growth coming in here. So I'm just going to leave these. They're a little bit longer than I like, but I'm going to leave them for right now and see how they do, just because I haven't really pruned these as far back as I did today. So we will see. And then, you guys, I literally have these beds full of random things. So you can see here, I don't even know what this plant is called. I think it's a type of coleus, but I've got little pieces in here growing. I've got other little seedlings growing in here. I'm a hot mess, but I just wanted to see if I can propagate them and bring them back or start a new plant with them. And then let me show you guys this area. This is where our yellow squash is. It looks really good. I should have put this in the ground earlier, but I wasn't sure if it was going to take. And honestly, I don't know what this is. I don't know if this is from the hard water here or if it's something that it's dealing with. Obviously, this is not good. So I'm going to cut off some of those branches, but I don't want to cover too much or cut off too much because I don't want them to get more sun than they need. But as you can see, there is a ton of little babies in here. So I'm really happy with how these are coming out, even though they're in this raised bed. They obviously need more space, but now I'm afraid to take them out. So we'll see what happens with these. This is the only two things I have in here besides these guys, which I put in here for bugs. And I don't know if the bugs are really feeding on them as much as they should be and not feeding on my other plants. But again, this is all trial and error for me this year. And as I learn more and share more with you guys, we will know how to do this the right way. So let's move on to the next part of the garden. Okay, so I did want to share that I cut down this tomato plant. And as I see, there's a ton of pill bugs, aka roly-polies, that are all over my tomato plant. And I noticed that they killed one of my succulents over by the tree over here, which it's pretty hard to kill a succulent. So I'm not sure what's happening. Is it from the cat's poop? What is the deal? So sorry, roly-polies were fun when I was a kid, but they're not so great in my garden. And so anyway, you could see the other tomato plant, and what I didn't realize is that although they're still getting enough air through here, there are some that I need to cut off in here, and there's some damaged stuff that I need to get rid of. Also, I mean, it's doing pretty good considering, but I'm just going to do some cutting and clean it up a little bit and see if it will produce for me again. There's one lone tomato in here. Everything else has been harvested and used. So again, we're getting some of these, which, oh well, my video died, but I'm going to take off some of this old damaged stuff and see if we can't save this baby. So let's get to it. Okay, so super hard prune on this one, but I really think it's going to be worth it. There was so much damage down below, and we still have some really good root system and stuff for it to come out. So I'm going to get that Captain Jacks Dead Bug, I think it's called, the organic stuff, of course, and spray my garden because it's really getting inundated with bugs that are not good. So we're gonna do that. And I see some other things that need to be addressed, but let's go inside. I want to show you guys my schedule that I did for the garden. So this wasn't even on the schedule for today. So let me grab that up real quick and share with you guys what I did. Okay guys, so I went inside and grabbed my new schedule for gardening. And if I didn't say it before at the beginning of the video, I got this idea from Laura at Garden Answer. She obviously has a huge property, but I thought, you know what, there are so many of us that have full-time jobs outside of the home that maybe feel that gardening is overwhelming and you don't know where to start and you don't know how to keep up. And so I'm trying to do the same thing now, even though I get to spend a lot more time in my garden than most people do since I work from home. I do need to put it into a schedule so that I don't miss things, because obviously pruning was one of the things I was missing, and really getting to know what my plants need. So she has a handy dandy garden schedule, and she does it in zones by date. So this is not to scale. I am not an engineer. And so what I did was just kind of put a schedule together for daily things like just random cleanup, picking up little weeds, watering in the areas that I don't have a drip system already. Weekly things like fertilizing, bug spray, weed maintenance as far as spraying for weeds, pruning, and then extra things like adding mulch, fixing the drip line, things like that. So zone by day, and you could see this is kind of like our area. Most of the garden stuff is in the backyard, and then I have a couple things in the front yard. So Monday is the shed area, which is right here. Doesn't look like a lot, but there's a lot to do in that area because there's a lot of growth going on over there. I also have my potting bench over there, so I like to keep that clean and check on all the new growth that I have going on in there. Tuesday is my secret garden area, which is right in here. That again too is planting a lot of new things as the seasons go by. Wednesday, fountain area, which is kind of a big area for me anyway, just because there's a lot of open space. So there's a lot of things that I have to put in, and kind of I want to be able to create a really fancy garden in there, like a classic garden, not a fancy garden, a classic garden. And then we have Thursday, which is today, we have our planter box area. So we have the area with the planter boxes, which was what we were working on today. And then we have most of this area with DG, decomposed granite, but we do have a lot of pots in the area. So checking on those, again, you know, getting any weeds out of there, because seeds fly around, and next thing you know, I have trees and different weeds and different things in all my pots. So cleaning those up really well will be part of what I do today. And then Friday is this little zone area right here. I call it the mark zone, and the porch area, because I do have a few things here, even though I did add a ground cover with some bigger pavers, so we don't have to really worry about a lawn or anything there. And then I have a couple of potted plants and stuff in the patio area. And then Saturday is the front yard area. So we have this area on the side of the house, which was a hot mess. And so I took everything out of there, put some weed barrier and some gravel in there, and just left one little area, which is a tree. Super simple. But I talked to my husband yesterday about some plans that I have for the front yard area, because we are having to build some privacy walls. So I thought, what better way to build a privacy wall than with boxwoods and our cypress trees that we currently have there. We have 5 huge cypress trees that line the side of our front yard. And I don't want to take them out. I love them. He would rather just put a fence up, but I thought, let me just do this and see how I can beautify the front area, you know, that curb appeal, right? So I'm going to be doing some extra things up there, which is going to make this zone really a lot of work. But we've been looking into the things that we need, like augers, so that we're not sitting there trying to dig holes all day long to plant all of the new plants that I want to put up here. But for now, we just have this area, which is pretty much gravel. Then the front planter area, which I've put a lot of, I guess, drought resistant plants up there. And they're not doing that well. They look okay, but they're not doing as well as they should, because I've noticed that there's not enough sun up there. They might get 2 hours of sun, so they don't look as pretty as they should. And then also we have our front porch area where I have most of my plumerias that I grab pieces from and replant those. And then we have 2 little pots that I put up in the front on either side of the garage. And those are doing pretty well, but I know that I have to keep on top of those, keep them, you know, nice and moist. They don't have any drip line, so that's totally up to me. And because they're in the front of the house and on the sides of the garage, I don't really listen or pay attention to them as much. So I got to start doing that. So anyway, this is a great way to schedule your time in the garden so that you're not overwhelmed. Even if you have a little garden, just knowing what you're going to be doing on those days so that you're already prepared, whether it's with buying new soil or buying new plants, making sure that you have the correct, you know, weed killer or organic, you know, bug killers and things like that, so that you are doing your bug spray, your weed maintenance, all that kind of stuff. Also, if you're adding mulch, you're going to have to go buy the mulch. So little things like that that will just really help you to know exactly what you need to do, what you need to get at the store, and what day you're going to do that. Definitely works for me because we have about, I don't know, 7,000 or so square feet of area here, which is super small, but we're in the city. So actually we have a bigger backyard than most people in our neighborhood. So there is a lot to do since we added the garden and stuff. So I love this idea. There's my awesome beetle. Hello, beetle. Yes, I'm deathly afraid of the beetles. I know they don't do anything, but I just don't like the buzz. Anyway, you guys, I hope that you enjoyed that, and we will see and keep you updated on all the pruning and growing that happens because of it and stuff. And I hope you guys have a great day. If you like this video, please give me a thumbs up. Comment below, help me out with any of the things that I need to know going forward in my garden, and also subscribe and hit that notification button so that you are aware of when I'm uploading videos. So anyway, I hope you guys have a great week and a weekend, and I will see you in the next one. Bye.